Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to another exciting episode of the People of Packaging podcast. I am joined today by Jason Christensen from Blue Unicorn, and we're going to talk all about what it's like to be an entrepreneur in this time and in this space, and just about this really exciting new brand that's coming right out of here where I'm based, which is in Utah. So let's get going here with Jason Christensen from Blue Unicorn.
Hey, good evening or good morning or good afternoon. I don't know if that, do you say good afternoon? Yeah, that's a word. Whatever time you're listening to this podcast, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day. It's considered TV, right? I'm guessing. We're live on the YouTube. Live on the YouTube. Not in Belarus, though. Told. For paper, you have to flatten it before you receive. I'm guessing they don't crush everything before they're collecting paper. Like 3D objects get routed away. If you leave your paper like a box, if you leave it assembled, the likelihood that it's going to get back goes down.
Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to listen to the People of Packaging. What is going on, Jason? Thanks so much for joining me here on the podcast.
It's good to be with you, Adam.
Yeah. I'm guessing you don't do many packaging podcasts throughout your day.
This is officially my very first ever, yes.
That is by far the most common answer I get whenever I ask that question. But yeah, thanks for joining. I know we're trying to make it happen in person. Timing and schedule just didn't work out, but I'm excited to talk a little bit about packaging and a lot about Blue Unicorn and just the brand that you've built, and would be curious just to hear a little bit about your backstory. How did you get to this point in your life? You don't have to go all the way back to like, I was born, I went to elementary school, but the relevant details would be pretty fun.
Well, yeah, I've been I was in a completely different industry. I started a company about 25 years ago in the home security, home automation industry. So, and I really oversaw that company for, the company I started, I oversaw it for about 19 years, sold to private equity and about 10 years ago. And then I stepped down about 5 years ago from that. And since then I've been teaching as an adjunct professor at Brigham Young University for the last 5 years in the business school in the entrepreneurial management department. So I wasn't really actively necessarily looking to jump into, CPG and it. So this has been really a fun, it's been a really fun new adventure for me. Jumping into a completely different industry, really.
Yeah, and I would imagine, I mean, I don't have a similar background at all, but I came into packaging from actually pastoral ministry. So I was a pastor and then got into packaging. So I at least understand at least on paper, how interesting it can be to go from one industry completely into another, but then also how many of those things for me have kind of woven together. I'm sure there's a lot of commonalities in business and starting up and then selling a business and learning things about that and then talking about it to a bunch of kids. Are you able to, are you still a professor at BYU, or are you in this full time?
Yeah, no, yeah, I still do. I still teach. And that's what I love most is, being able to be part of that community, the community. It's really inspiring, for me being a part of that. And I love it. So
that's so cool.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, are you able to now, so you're teaching about entrepreneurship and you're starting a company or have started a company. How long has Blue Unicorn been around?
Well, we just started Blue Unicorn just a little bit over a year ago was when the company was founded. Okay. We started selling product like last July was the very first time we started selling, any bars. So it was about 4 months and, just kind of getting everything geared up, getting our packaging ordered, and that whole process. And then we did some sales through retail, and then we started doing some direct to consumer sales like last October. So about what was that, 7 months or so, 8 months, right around
Something
there.
like that. Post-COVID
Yeah,
time to me is just like fictitious. I can't even.
yeah.
Someone will be like, "Yeah, back in 2022," and I'm like, "That was 3 years ago." That feels
I
like
know.
days ago. When you say that year, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Have there
No,
been?
yeah,
Sorry.
I was going to say, but yeah, it's been you know crazy. It's moving fast, and so we're already, so we're having to adapt all sorts of changes, from when we started selling product. And anyway, it's been an adventure.
I can imagine. I'm excited to dig into that. I'm curious though, has there been anything about this journey that you then go back to your class and you're like, listen, I know I talked to you all about this with entrepreneurship, but now that I'm really in the middle of it, that might be what the book says, but let me tell you, let me give you the real about what actually happened.
Well,
Your life
yeah, no, I
is
mean,
just so much more in like experiential now, right?
yeah, well, I mean, and so that's kind of the great thing about with my classes. I already have like loads of stories like that, from all of my prior experience, being part of like starting a company where you're working in a 300 square foot office to, like, in my case,
Hey, everyone, sorry for that little break there. My internet went a little funky, so apologies. But Jason, I lost you when you were talking about what it was like. You said you were in a 300 square foot office, and you probably said the most incredible knowledge the world
it
has ever.
was. I don't think I'll ever be able to repeat what I just said exactly.
Well, give
No,
it a shot. Give it a try.
well, no, you'd asked about just stories for students, and I just, that's pretty much what my whole class is just telling stories, different, applications of principles. But yeah, I mean, I, I started, working, where as wearing every single hat, to where one, to growing a company where we had hundreds of employees and customers in 30 different states. And so there's all sorts of, experiences to draw from that,
Yeah,
the reality of entrepreneurship. And, and then we're still having those now with Blue Unicorn. So yes,
that's cool. Yeah, and I can only imagine that there's a lot of similarities there, and then that you were able to then bring over here to Blue Unicorn. But let's talk a little bit about your starting up. So you said, did you launch in retail? Is that what you said?
yeah. So we actually, we went through the whole process of, I mean, the product itself was created by my partner, who, Dr. Luke Tolley, and he's a food scientist. So he originally, about a year and a half ago, I met with him. He showed me what it was that he had created. I mean, my experience has been as a consumer of protein bars. I've just eaten hundreds of different protein bars, and so when I looked at the nutrients on it, I was expecting it to be like a protein bar where you take a couple bites and then you set it down and then you never actually finish it. It was so, like, the nutritional content was so good. It was like such a good amount of protein per calorie and really low sugar. And so I expected that. But when I tried it, I was just completely blown away. I was like, this is like a treat. I've never had anything like it.
Yep.
And I loved it. I took it home. My wife loved it. My kids loved them. They kept asking for them. And so, I told Luke, I just said, listen, I just want to be able to buy these. I don't, so one thing led to another, and we were starting a company. So, but yeah, then that, and I can't even now. I've lost. I forgot the question that you asked right
No,
there.
it's
But
fine. That's a beautiful. It's actually a really cool place to end that point, because I'm kind of curious about. So you go from like, this is a really good bar. It tastes great, which it does, by the way. I went online. I encourage everyone to go online and get. I think I got the sampler pack, is what it might have been called.
yeah,
Yeah, I got one of those. Yeah, it was awesome. Great unboxing experience. Tried them all. My kids fought over them legitimately. Like it was really, really good. So how do you go from this, like, here's a concept to, I really like this, I just want to buy it. It's sort of like the Seinfeld episode. I'm not sure if you're a friend, but it's like yada yada yada. It's like
Yeah.
yada yada yada. We have a bar, but you got to find a contract manufacturer. You got to find somebody to make your artwork. You've got to,
Yeah.
there's a whole bunch of steps there that you've probably never had to navigate before, coming from the industry
Yes.
you were in. So when did you decide this is not just a nice thing that I would love to buy from somebody that I met, but like, we have something to share with the world and we want to make this? So that decision, and then spurring that into creating a product that's now sits on a retail shelf.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, it's yeah, there's kind of a lot that goes into that. We felt confident, in the product itself, but yeah, then we were like, okay, well, what do we call it, and all of those types of things, and we spent a lot of time really, trying to be really thoughtful about all of that. Um, Even just coming up with a name. Um, it was interesting because the very first time when I met with Dr. Tolley, the for whatever reason, I think I used the word unicorn because to describe the bar, because it was like off the chart of, like, it was like the mythical, like, this isn't real, this doesn't exist, that idea. And then, he had actually had brought it up because his daughter had referred to it as a unicorn because of the movie Despicable Me, and talking about the fluffy unicorn, because it's a fluffy kind of the texture is
Yeah.
like fluffy. And so, anyway, then we ended up, finding the name Blue Unicorn, and we bought a domain, and then we turned it, we actually, from there, a lot of this was my wife's doing. She's more of the creative side of things. But we raise alpacas, our family does. So we created this kind of a little fluffy unicorn alpaca, and that ended up kind of being our mascot. It was kind of symbolic of the bar itself. But so it was like really a few months that were kind of like dedicated to kind of creating that brand, and then that all, obviously, all that whole process translated into, designing the packaging,
Right.
from there. Yeah.
Did you have to
Um,
find somebody to make the bars, or?
no, we make the bars ourselves. Yeah.
Awesome.
So we had to buy, we bought a chocolate enrobing machine that was 40 years old, and and have had to work through all sorts of different challenges, with that, as we're trying to, get a business started up.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
And then,
yeah, it's
even from a packaging standpoint, thinking about, like, okay, so you're not going to use a contract manufacturer, which means that you get to control everything, but it also means you're responsible for everything, right? So, like,
yes,
I'd imagine even the flow wrap film that's gonna,
yep,
seal the bar. It's like you probably had to learn all about the impacts of water and
yep,
oxygen and all sorts of stuff that's gonna be on the bar, and the
yeah.
materials you're gonna use, and on down the
All
list.
the licensing and different things, to just to be able to, to have a production facility. Um,
Right. Yeah, all the food safety
all the
requirements.
all the food safety requirements and all of those things. So yeah, we had to go through all that. We had to go become certified,
Jeez.
through the state, everything. So yeah, it was there was a lot that
Well, now
went
I
into
wish we
all.
were in person. I wanna go see all this stuff. We'll do a second, we'll do a
Yeah,
follow-up, 'cause
it's fun.
in my head, I was assuming that it was like, okay, we have a concept, we have a recipe, let's go
Yeah,
find somebody to make it. This is normal. There's nothing wrong with what I'm describing, right? Like, that's a pretty normal process. Okay, we
yeah,
have this company that makes bars, they private label, they have
right.
all this stuff,
Yep.
and that
Yeah, most protein bars are very similar. For that very reason is because and most they just differentiate. They're the way they differentiate is in marketing. It's just a
Yep.
marketing. So I think we actually have it's a very unique product, and there's really nothing like it in the. I mean, I still will order anything that claims to be anything similar, and I mean I have like you can't see right in front of me,
You
but
can
I
just
keep
pull it
every
in the pre-talk.
yeah.
You're like, you mean this? You mean this? You mean
This
this?
one, yeah,
Like,
I know. I have like hundreds of different bars because I order all of them, and there's nothing that compares, to this bar. Um,
it's
so
it's amazing. So let's talk about the packaging here for a little bit because it is a packaging podcast.
yeah,
Um, did you have any, experience? Did you have any like packaging engineers that you knew? Did you have anybody that kind of came in and helped you maybe cut through some of the hurdles, I guess, when it comes to not just like the film, but you also have some retail requirements with, look, I think you have some folding carton boxes, you have a D2C box that's it's a printed corrugated box. How did you come up with all of those? Was it trial by error, or you were like, "Oh, no, we had a Sam," I don't know, make up a name, that helped us out?
no, I mean it would have been probably nice to have had some more expertise. We did so we contracted. There was a company that we really worked with really closely that has done some other CPG products, and they've done some called Super Top Secret, and they were great. And they were really helpful
I've heard awesome
in
things about them, by the way, just so you know.
really good. Yeah, they're really good. They did a really great job. But we worked really with them, collaborating around the name and not the brand itself, um, and they helped with that because they have some experience obviously with that. So they were probably the best resource helping us along the way. But other than that, no, we had to. I mean, we're measuring the bars, trying to guess, well, how big, do we want these boxes to be, and yeah, and all of it. Like we were, a little bit of trial and error with the companies that we worked with, to try to figure out exactly what was, what were the dimensions and everything.
Let me ask you this question, when I got into packaging, my job was to buy packaging. That was a big part of my job. And this was like 2007, 2008. So I'd imagine it's gotten a little bit easier, but maybe not. This is your chance to speak to the packaging community at large. Um, is it hard to find companies that make the stuff that you want? Like, are we responsive? Are we? Because I have a theory that we're terrible at it. That just so you know, like I think we're not very good. I think we're hard to find. I think most manufacturers are difficult to get a hold of. But I could be wrong because I'm not. I'm not. That's not my job anymore. But if
Yeah,
you had any advice maybe for people on that,
in
'cause
the industry.
I just gotta imagine it's pretty tough, but maybe I'm wrong.
I, admittedly, we didn't do a lot of, we actually didn't really do a ton of comparing. We were kind of in a big rush, which is probably happens a lot where, we had been referred to a certain company to do, to help
With
produce
film and
the
boxes and
packaging.
all that
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
and we had two different we had one company that produced, that did the wrappers and for us, and then the cartons was another company, and then we ended up outsourcing, the shippers. We just outsourced, and we worked with a company overseas in that case.
Interesting.
So yeah, and and they were good. They did a good like they actually we were super happy with what they did, and that worked out to be very, that was very economical too.
I had somebody tell me, I don't really care if my now maybe this has changed with the influx of of various tariffs, but at one point in time, somebody said, "I don't care if my stuff shows up from Poland or Australia. Like I just need it to be what I want at the price I'm deciding to pay on time and look good." Like we don't have a ton of requirements in the packaging industry. But that can always be a bit of an adventure. So,
Well, it was, and we were super nervous. I mean, admittedly, I was super nervous about it because we had just placed this big order, and for us, it was a lot of money. When you're dealing with some company, and everything, all of the proofing is done, virtually. I mean, they'll send a little video; it shows you what it's going to look like and everything, and you trust it's all going to be what you want, and so. But we were totally happy with it. In that case. So yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, I would love to hear at some point. I'm trying to think. I don't know a lot of companies who source printed corrugated overseas, but film and folding carton board locally. So it's neither good nor bad. I find it interesting, especially as a startup. Well, Jason, how do people buy and try Blue Unicorn? Obviously, you guys have a website. Where can I just go pick some up though? Like what time is it now? It's 12:05 here during this recording, and I'm actually hungry. So I'm sitting here near the airport in Salt Lake City, can I just go somewhere to buy Blue Unicorn?
So I have a meeting this week that I think will make it a lot easier for you.
Okay.
Where you are. I expect, we expect in a few weeks we should have a better.
Might it be at a very popular convenience store chain in the Utah area?
Not necessarily a convenience store, but a better known, at least a better known grocery store in the area, and so we're expecting to be able to get into some more locations. We're working on that. Most of our sales right now are online, so we ship out product every day. Well, we've been shipping out product every day. We had to make a little adjustment with the warm weather, so we have a little bit of a challenge because we send our bars are made with real chocolate, which at around 86.3 degrees it starts to melt. So that's added all sorts of some new complications to that part of what we're doing. But we are shipping out every day. We had to change that to Monday. We only ship on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, and we do everything 2-day shipping. We have to do some additional packaging to protect it from the heat. So, normally that's just been a recent change that we've had to make with the warm weather.
Yeah, I'm going to, there's a friend of mine who he's like, how you meet people who have like a very niche thing, like that's like his specialty is like, how do I get food and other things that need temperature controlled from point A to point B? So, it's crazy that there's people out there that I'm like, oh yeah, this is exactly what this person, they don't really do much else. That's it. So, might be a great connection point.
That would be a great connection. Yeah. We did a lot of internal experimenting with trying to put, the bars in like a certain temperature environment for a certain amount of time to try to figure out how much time we had, all this stuff. Cause same thing. We were just doing, probably should have talked to some other experts like that, but we didn't know who to talk to. So we just, did our own experiments with it.
Well, now you know, Jason. Now you know. I'll happy to help in any way I can.
That's great. Yeah.
So is the website blueunicorn.com?
Just blueunicorn.com. We do a really deep discount on subscriptions. So, a lot of our customers are on subscriptions. And yeah, as long as you order, I mean, basically they'll come in these like a carton like this. So these are our 10, we'll ship 10 bars in this carton. And as long as you order 2 of them, we do free shipping as well.
Let me ask you on that. Do you put well, you know what? I'm going to find out. I'm going to go order, I'm going to subscribe, and then I'm going to see how they ship to me. I just want to know. I'm going to be curious.
Yeah. Do it.
I think you've got a really cool box there. It's a really sturdy box, honestly. So it's going to withstand a ton of, Amazon or UPS drivers, whoever it is, just chucking things around.
Yeah, no, it's and we did a slight redesign on it recently, but these have worked great, and we can just, we put the sticker right. Normally we'll just put the sticker right on the box and we can ship them.
Yeah.
Obviously now with the warm weather, we add some additional packaging.
Right. Makes sense. Well, everyone go check out blueunicorn.com. Jason, I really appreciate you coming on, persevering through whatever that random glitch in the internet matrix was that happened. But we made it. We got an episode recorded, and I'm excited to come see your facility, see how these things are made.
Yeah.
Glad to know that you're making them in-house. And where are you guys located?
We're in Springville, Utah.
Got it. The Red Devils? Is that Springville's?
I think that's the local high school.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a weird thing to know, but from we'll title this from Red Devils to Blue Unicorns. That's probably not. That's all right. Well, I appreciate you. Thanks so much, Jason.
Cool. Thanks, Adam.